I don't know if I can chronicle all the shit that has went wrong in this thing. Oh, there's one. Oh, that's a good one. This is the hunt for a 30-inch fish, which is so elusive. I've been pretty lucky. I've got a few in my life, but I'm telling you, you can go years and years, you can go lifetime hunting them and not see one. It is so rare to see, for that matter, to see a 25-inch fish in the daytime is, you know, it's really rare. People in rivers like the White, where there's a giant concentration of them, in reality, it's still rare. If you actually put the damn thing on a tape measure, which you'll see on ours, when we put one in, I'll put it in the boat, and you'll see how fast that 28-inch fish turns to 25-inch fish almost instantly. It's just, it is so rare. It's like shooting a 190 whitetail or something like that. It just doesn't happen very often, but we're gonna hit really good water. We're gonna try to explain everything we're doing, just so you can see all the equipment. I started, it's pretty early. I started with white. We have fished for about 15 minutes, and there's one. Oh, on cue, baby. You ain't no 30, but you'll do. Stretch my line out for me. I was just about to say, I'm on white, and it's been too long. Which he would jump, it would look like it was 27, I'll bet you, if he would jump. But we're gonna throw him on that hog trough. See him out there? But I'm not really trying to race him. I'm letting him go right over. He's just continuing. So he's still got a lot of juice. It's a non-game species. It's a rainbow, but it's a freaking monster. So we don't care. That fly came out, it's in the bottom of his jaw. That making things a little harder. Come here, little buddy. Woofda. Woofda. Most places that would turn into a 28-inch fish almost instantly. My hands are slippery. Very quickly, we'll throw that right there. And that's a 24 and a quarter. Right there. What a beauty. But that fish, when it jumped, for sure, most people would say that was going to turn into a 28. It's a nice fish. It's a 2-footer. That's a great fish. Not the white whale, but great fish. I was right in the middle of saying I've had this fly on for too long. I'm about gonna get 8. So now, of course, I'm gonna fish that fly for another 5-10 minutes and see what happens. But that ain't a bad start to a supposed to be 10-day trip, which is now going to be 6 days, but pretty damn good start of the day with a 2-footer, so we'll take that. And that was on a white dudgeon, just a standard white dudgeon, nothing special, just a white dudgeon. I build my heads a little broader than, I build them just a little broader than most people do. Not much. I'm trying to get this leg undone here. Just a regular white dudgeon. Kind of beat up. I don't know if I can chronicle all the shit that has went wrong in this thing. Stop me if I forget something. Let's start from ground zero. We were supposed to be in British Columbia. All the rivers blew out. So we decided to bail, lose all our money on our trip. And then we're gonna do the epic brown trout hunt. We get all the boats all tuned up and charged up and everything's beautiful. Then we get out here and my sled dies. So I have to abort a day there, go get my other sled, this one. We brought the other one just because we wanted to have Braden, camera boy, spoiled boy back there, have more creature comforts. It's a little bigger boat, a little wider. And so we get it and the motor craps out on us 3 hours, not even 3 minutes. We just thought we had bad gas or something. Well, that one, after another lost day and hundreds of dollars later getting all the diagnostics on it, it's shit the bed. So we get this one, which is essentially brand new. I think I've got 10, 15 hours on this boat. We charge the batteries, we get up here and start it up, and here we go, everything's great. Kind of dies out because I didn't quite didn't open up my gas breather. No problem, we go to start and the battery's dead. Like this show does not want to be shot. But luckily, I have a trolling motor in the front of it, which I'd taken my trolling motor off, and we were able to switch that one. We were supposed to be in BC 3 days ago. We're here, and we've only got to fish. We fished with the other boat for a few hours. We couldn't get it on step, so now we're finally fishing. So we will be, Braden likes to think that this is good karma. We got all the bad shit out of the way, and so now we're in good standing with the fish gods. So we didn't whine too hard. I whined a little, maybe. Jerry whined a lot, but he's kind of a whiner. Jerry's the free little guy in the front of the boat. You'll meet him in a minute. We're chasing brown trout. We're gonna get rainbows and browns, but we're after these things, so we're gonna be fishing pretty much exclusively sinking lines. But this one we're gonna have 10 days to shoot. We're gonna, we've lost 4 of the 10 already, 3 of the 10. Yeah, we had 10 days to shoot. Now we are just a little behind that. So we are day 1 in the hunt for a fish 30 inches. We'll see how that goes. Gerald Wilson, AKA Moose, Fuzzy, Jerry.
I don't know what it is now, 45?
Us?
50 years, close.
Close to 50.
Yep. Once bad, but nothing more than that. You forced me into it.
I don't know if I'd call that much of a fight. There was only one real bad beating, but he also choked me out, jumped across the table, and choked me out in the Alibi Bar in Grand Rapids in front of all these chicks. He just was flying. It was his, hello, I love you. How have you been? Sleeper. Oh, out cold. I wake up with a lot of girls going, oh, is he okay? Sure, he got lucky on that one. I didn't even think he knew he choked me out.
When I was a kid, I was bigger than everybody, grew pretty quick, and I was strong. My dad was strong, so anything they needed picked up or something, that's what did. So he always called me that and stuck. You know how that goes.
Something about being 265 when you're in high school that makes it stick. So the Silk Kitty, one of the companies I worked for previous to MFC, pretty conservative folks, nice people. I sent him this fly and it's called the Silk Kitty. And he was pretty used to the other fly names. So he says, finally, a name that is just really nice, the Silk Kitten, Silky Kitten. And I said, Jesse, think. Oh my. Oh, that was neat. Yeah. That was neat. Or I possibly hit bottom, but I don't know how I would have right there. I don't know, that felt like one too, and that was a weed. There's a couple gravel shoals I could have hit. Just had that, it had that feel. There's a tinny feel of, I don't know how to describe it. People say, how do you know it's a need? It's just a different feel. God, that was a great eat. Oh, did you see it? Oh, it came running out of that thing. Oh, what a great eat that was. Oh my God. I came over that weed bed and I stalled it. The thing came over top of the backside. It had to just feel it. It came over the top of that weed bed. I saw, like you spooked it. And it came down on top of that sheep herder. Oh my God, that was the best eat. Sun came out perfect. Oh my God, that's the best eat I've ever had in my life. Sheep herder.
Careful.
Love this fly. I'm gonna take that net down here where I can get at it. Want to hog trough it? Sure. Give her a quick hog trough. 23, not quite. 23, 22 and 3/4. God, the best eat ever.
Okay. Good color.
Best.
Great color.
I would spend the rest of, I got it. Oh, what a beautiful little kid.
Good boy.
Aren't you cute? Go play.
Oh man.
Oh, I deserve that. Oh, that was so cool. I mean, I don't think you could make a fish go faster than that. This is a sheep herder. And it's a bed, it was a weed bed just like this. They came over it fast and then I let it stall and went like that and it came up and over. And that fish easily came 4 feet. And it came up and over and hit it on the way down. This is the coolest thing ever. Give me another one. Keep getting sucked out to the same line every time. That motherfucker ate me on the rise. You see that?
I did.
Ate it on the f***ing float.
Thought you had a goddamn snag.
That ate the dry. It was floating. Did you see it? Threw out and I was trying to mess with the front end and ate it as a dry fly. Second time. Mark Lundmark's dad had one do that to me.
That's great.
That thing. I was sitting there messing with that thing. I'm watching my fly. I twitched it once. Oh.
I ain't seen it yet. You felt it?
No. I saw it. I saw yellow.
Boy, it's dark, ain't it? Oh, I see a little chrome there.
I'm just like, oh my God, he just actually ate that dry fly. Make you want to throw a frog.
Decent. He's decent. Oh yeah.
Can't believe that. Fly was not moving. It was, he ate it on a dead drift.
Spunky.
That is too funny.
Nice buck. Look at that.
Coming
Nice
at
buck.
you.
Fish is nice. There's nothing wrong with that
Nice
fish. Ain't
dark.
that?
Coming at you.
Mine would have. That was more than 8 mine.
Down he goes. 25 about. Let's go out here and get you a drink, buddy. I don't think he was letting this fly go. Got some blood coming out of him.
Yep.
Day of very weird eats. That was a gorgeous buck. But we were out here, we kept hitting, the wind's blowing us off, and I wanted to come in on this shallow run to run cougars over top of the weed beds. And I was turning around doing something, and I was about to move, and I had my fly, it's floating, and I reach like this, and I hear, oh, and I see this thing eat my thing. It's floating dead drift on the surface, an olive zoo cougar, and just inhales it, takes off. You know, buy a freaking lotto ticket and
Yeah.
copious amounts of alcohol. Back we go to the top. That was the luckiest fish in history. I mean, that doesn't happen to people that fish a lot. We were just talking this. I threw this out the other way. I was messing with the motor. I can't remember what I was doing. I look out and see my fly, and this 25-inch buck comes up and eats it, like just inhales it. It made a big noise. I mean, I have a number 2 olive zoo cougar with a 25-foot Cortland Type 6 sink tip on, and I don't know how we're in 2 foot of water. And that thing comes up and it hails it like a dead mouse. I don't know what the hell he thought it was. But it was the luckiest fish of my life. The fact that you get it, that's even more lucky. That doesn't happen. Unbelievable. Hurt my neck on that thing. I spun around so damn fast. I mean, I kind of really didn't believe what I was looking at. You got to be a no-talent hack job to catch a fish on a dry fly like that. You got to be like your first time fly fishing. You really don't like it anyway, and you don't appreciate the fact that it just happened. That's who's supposed to do that. Is that as big as they get? I thought he'd pull harder. What time's dinner? Funny, I thought that fish got away. Just got stuck under a weed bed and turned around. No way he was getting off. There was lots on his face. So we're in this big weed fit. One thing about big rivers, oh, that felt so good for a second. One thing about big rivers is people tend to keep fishing edges. Really all rivers, a lot of streamer anglers tend to just stay right on the bank, and in particular in really big rivers, if you got the opportunity, I like to be in the middle. And in even rivers, is, like the Madison's pretty big, but not giant. But you tend to find your really big fish on those, in the middles, in these flats. And this particular one is an ideal. I have on a floating fly, which was the absolute luckiest thing ever. There had nothing to do with fishing. I got one to eat a dry cougar. But when you see these flats and you can find these weed beds, oh, there's one. Oh, that's a good one. Dang it, that hit me hard. Wow. In particular, on these big flats, they like they don't like flies going over their heads. And so I was just about to show you my leader. Oh, that's a good puller. I lengthen my leaders up in these flats. I'm not in 5 foot of water. I don't know if I'm in 4 foot. The weed beds are pushing the fish, or pushing the water. You can see it's lifting the water up right here. And the weed beds do that. It gives them sanctuary down there where they can hide and see stuff going over their heads, which they hate. We just got one on a dry, and this guy just ate it. This one, I put on the zoo cougar. It's my all-time favorite single hook fly, period. And for fishing weed beds like this, it's unbelievable because it goes over. I let the fly line kind of drag over the weed beds, and then he's got a good pull on him. I let the fly go over the weed beds, and it flutters every time if I can see the weed bed, I kind of skirt it really quick as it's coming up and then let it flutter as it goes over the top of it, right where the fish might be.
Good thick body. Nice fish.
Talk about this a lot when we're doing fighting fish stuff. Don't be in a hurry. Just let it happen. Don't just keep constant tension. Watch your fish's head to see which way it's going. When it's going away from you, don't try to stop it. You're losing, right? It's got to have a moment where, and then wait for it to, like, right, he's pulling away from me right now as much as you can. So right there, he's coming at me, and accentuate him to come around. I'm gonna let him, he's dictating which way we go, but I'm making up line. I'm just kind of, he's going around to the right, so I'm just kind of letting him do that. Now he's going to the left, I just accentuate it, but don't try to stop what they do. If you try to turn a fish that's going away, you're just gonna pull them out. Just let the fight, continue their momentum, whichever way it is. And eventually, so now he's going left, away from me, let it go. Anytime the fish's head goes away from you, let it happen. Do not try to stop that. Going upstream, which we encourage, because then he'll come up towards us. Bring his head up, he should be close. Right here.
Missed him.
Oh, just a second.
Sorry, bud.
Sorry. There. Go. Bang.
That's a long fish.
That's a pretty one.
Nice fin.
Well, what I was going to say is this fish is another one that ate my fly completely.
Almost.
Should be able to get it right here. It's not, at least that one's not in the... Okay.
Just try to move your body as far left on the
Not quite a 30. It's getting up there though. There's her head. 20, maybe 28. Might nick it, yeah. 28.
28.
2 inches shy of what we're after. Oh, good job, little girl. Oh, you're a beauty. That's a real fish. Oh. All right. Here we go. Ready? Oh. That's a beauty. Not quite that 30 world.
We're good.
See you, baby. What I was saying when that fish ate was that we're in with these weed beds, and they're not very deep. That's, everybody thinks fish are really deep. They're not. So I've got weed beds that are this far off the bottom, and what I'm doing is I lengthen my leader up. You see, I went to, my butt section's about 1 foot, and I went to 3 foot of tippet, and I got a zoo cougar on, which is my favorite single hook flutter fly. And so what I'm doing is going over the weed beds. We ran this twice, came back, I said I wanted to come back and do it again with the flies going over top of it. And Jerry went to an olive envy. He's going to jig it, and then I was going to come through. And what I do is I let the sinking line, now I'm fishing in 3.5, 4 foot of water max. And I've got a 25 foot, I think it's a 240 grain head, which most people would say way too heavy. It's not, it doesn't, you don't have to fish them deep. And I'm letting the line kind of slide over the top of the weeds. And then as soon as I think my fly is off the weeds, I let it kind of flutter. And that just triggers that. They don't like stuff coming over them like that. And so they just clobber it. But it's absolutely perfect. Like I said, I was talking about fishing centers of rivers when you can find weed beds. My personal favorite thing to fish for when you're hunting a 30 fish, it for me is what most people call frog water, and they leave it. And they row it over it. They just leave completely, oh, this is frog water. And a perfect scenario like we have right out there, we've got masses of weed beds, some 10, 20 feet long. There's a gap between them, maybe foot to 3 or 4 feet, whatever it is. and we're just hovering over top of them, like just running across the top. They're sitting there because they're nocturnal feeders, not really programmed to eat during the day. They're really waiting to go feed at night. But when they get the opportunity, boom, they take it. And that was a perfect example right there. So I just simply lengthen my leader a little bit, and I'm letting it skitter across the top of the weeds, and then getting those aggressive reactionary bites. They're not really reactionary, because we talk about that a lot, reactionary versus food bites. They're food bites. It's being a triggered response, but because they're seeing it as food. So it's a food bite. We've had 3 fish that have had that fly. That one included have been down. That's a pretty fast moving fly. Well, the one was that dry fly eater, but the other 2, I was moving the fly pretty quick across those beds, and they're eating it and taking it so deep that, I'm reaching down with my fingers and just pushing the fly backwards. It's just that far down their throats. And so that's a food eat. They're eating it for food for real. So just something to keep in mind when you can find these big flats like this. You got to hunt them out. You got to find them, especially when you can get lots and lots and lots of weed beds lined up. Do not pass those. Don't pass them. It's the best big fish water you're going to find. We just landed an absolutely stellar, gorgeous 28-inch buck. And I want you to see, the Zoo Cougar is like a tried and true fly. This is my first really nationally big time pattern. And it's like a tiny little thing, right? Look how small this thing is. This is size 2, olive. And it's important that people realize that, there's a huge trend now of just throwing giant streamers. And we got some good fish today on bigger flies, but we've had 3 fish in a row on that fly that big, and the biggest one we've got all day is that big. And so I just switched Jerry over, he just switched over to a low profile, smaller olive peanut envy. But I think it's important people realize that not everything in streamer is just this giant fly. It doesn't have to be a giant fly. They'll eat a lot of sculpin in their life, and they're 3 inches long at best. And so don't just throw the giant fly. I've still got all the same equipment as far as the line and all that. The fly's just smaller. And it's really important that you don't have just a giant fly game. It's great if they're on it, man. It's really cool to see them smash those things, but boy, don't leave the small flies out of your arsenal. I've been fishing this fly, I don't know when I came up with it, sometime like 90 or something like that, early, maybe late 80s. They still work. The old flies still work. So don't go out with just the big giant flies. I went to match a hatch basically, because we're in all these weeds, and I assumed that there's going to be smaller bait fish in the weeds. And so I said earlier, I really like to pull these flies across the weed beds, and I can't do that with a giant heavy fly. It has to be a fly that you can, flutter over top of them. But just a little sidebar, that don't get hung up on just the giant stuff. You can't make up that stuff. It just happened. And, we can't do this without you guys, supporting our online business and doing all that. We really appreciate when you do that. Helps us make these things. We can't go out and make these unless we're selling stuff online. But, we really appreciate it. We look for you. We sign our stuff and say thank you on every one of them, because we really do appreciate when you order from us, and hope you keep it up. Of course, you have to do it at slidein.com. Come on, Big Jer. Went to the natural dungeon. Sweet. You got a face full of that thing. Want to get your face in that picture?
No, go ahead.
I know, you got to pick it up.
Soon you do. Really.
I don't want to. Got a little tail. We can't get a hold of that thing. Come here. Oh, that's a beauty. I like when they do that.
Jerry.
Well, Jerry just landed a really nice fish. It's a wrap for us for today. We didn't get our 30, we got 2 inches from it, but we still got 5 more days to find one closing in on it, maybe 6 more days. And so I hope you liked that. It was a great day. Talked a lot about weed bed hunting, you know, where we hunt for these really big fish, not the traditional stuff. It's kind of we didn't tear it up, but we had some really good fish, and that's trophy hunting. You know, you don't go trophy hunting and expect to get 25 fish in a day. You go out, and we had way more than we deserve, really, because when you're doing this, usually it's 1 or 2 fish if you're, you know, really good ones. And so it was a really good day. And tomorrow we start all over again, and we'll go through all the same stuff. So stay tuned.